Joining me now for more, Brad Warner, a Zen Buddhist priest. And Brad, explain to us the Chinese rituals that accompany this kind of funeral.
Well, when you say somebody's a Buddhist, it's like saying somebody's a Christian. So there are a lot of varieties of Buddhism. You know, in Christianity you have Catholics and Christian Scientists, Mormons. The same thing goes for Buddhism. So the tradition that exists in the region that Officer Liu comes from tends to be a syncretic tradition with a lot of mixtures of different types of Buddhism, mainly Zen and Pure Land, along with some Chinese customs that predate even Buddhism. So the thing about the burning of the paper money isn't exactly a Buddhist custom. It's more of a Chinese folk custom. The monks would usually be chanting homage to Amida Buddha, who is a Buddha who is supposed to have prepared the Pure Land for people who can go there in their next incarnation and learn about the Dharma from him. That's a kind of a tradition from Pure Land Buddhism. So basically they'll be chanting that in a usual Chinese Buddhist funeral for about 8 hours, taking turns among the family members doing that chant.
And at the end of it, for the family themselves, clearly this is supposed to be a time of mourning, also a time of healing. Tell me what the monks sort of bring in to help the family at such a painful time.
Well, the general Buddhist belief about what happens to a person when they die, we don't have a belief in an immortal soul the way Christians do. But there is a belief that a person is the result of causes and conditions that go in to create a human being and a human life, and that those causes and conditions will continue on after the person has departed. So I would imagine the monks there would be kind of consoling the family in the idea that Officer Liu's in some sense continues on and continues to be a presence within the universe rather than simply disappearing from it. That would be the main sort of teaching I think they would bring to it.
And it does seem that that's what the NYPD certainly is trying to do. They've renamed 2 streets in the area. They're also saying that his legacy, his life, will continue as a reminder of all the values that he incorporated. 8 hours, is that traditional, the length of the ceremony?
Yeah, that's the general Chinese tradition. I don't know for certain that they're going to do this ceremony for 8 hours, but that's the usual tradition where the family just kind of gathers around the body. They generally don't believe in embalming in the Chinese Buddhist tradition. So there's a kind of a sense of getting it done quickly. So because you're dealing with a body that's not prepared like that. Again, I don't know for sure because some people do change that up according to circumstances. But yeah, they do this ritual chanting for a very long time to ensure that the efficacy of the chant.
Sure, to sort of spirit him on his way, so to speak. What about the funeral? What about the burial itself? What are we likely to see?
Well, generally, in Chinese Buddhism, which differentiates it from the Japanese Buddhism I studied, is they don't tend to favor cremation. They tend to favor a burial of the body. So they would do this. The ritual chanting as a preparation for that, and then they would bring the body to the burial place, just as in a usual sort of Western type of arrangement like that.
All right, Brad Warner, thank you so much. We appreciate your insight.